I don't want to dwell on the past, but I think the RSP stuff that the middle school put me in, actually elementary school, I think that was just not our fault. It was actually also, obviously, I didn't do well enough in school, but I don't think it constituted needing that. I feel like you should only be in that if you're actually like handicapped or like seriously like autistic in the IEP program. I feel like honestly the people I know who were in that program were pretty normal, and they actually feel kind of insulted to be in there. But I feel like sometimes they have teachers that really care, but most of the teachers I think in that type of special education, not really. I don't think the students really received it well. And of course, teenagers are going to rebel and say, "Oh, they hate everything," but I just think it obviously didn't work for most of us, including me especially. But Miss Killing, she was kind of weird. She was obviously a person in the past. I want to say she's a good person, but her intents are good, but she doesn't know how to relate to kids. She never had a kid herself except when she adopted when she was in her 50s. I know it's in the past, but one time she even said, "Oh, you're good at math." No, I'm not. It's my worst subject. She just randomly said that. It's just like I feel like she's just too fluff. It's just not getting into the meat of things, like why. And I never honestly saw how she helped. She didn't even know most of the material, to be honest with you. And the only class I had that was IEP related past actually middle school. I was in it briefly in English. I wanted to say no more of that, the IEP English, but they did have me in what's called resource studies, which is where you do your homework. What's funny? My grades were worse after I was in those classes. I felt low self-esteem. I can't take honors class. I probably could. I actually asked, can I take an honors English or honors French? And even then, like, that'll motivate me to do well math. To be honest with you, that would have helped a lot if I just went to a smaller town high school, like Runner Park or like Sebastopol or Windsor. I don't know if they're okay with that. But their standards are probably lower. Their criteria is probably easier for work. But their curriculum, I mean. But I think it's just really strange. Like, she was just too odd. She's in the past. I didn't treat a lot of my landlords well, and that's just me being as horrible as I can, and I hated it. I almost actually kind of wanted them to call the hospital or 911 because I was so crazy. Ty, she was a great woman. She's the closest thing to an angel, honestly, because while grandma is a good grandma, my grandma Paley, she's the closest thing to an English-speaking grandma I'll ever have memory of. And towards the end of us knowing each other the last month or two, I felt like we had a lot in common. She has disabilities in her family, but she still works hard, and her story's kind of like yours. Came to this country, didn't know what it is. She's in a very exotic place as an Asian person, as an immigrant, as an elder too. You went to definitely a different place for immigrants from Asia. Detroit. She was in New Mexico. So I can't stop thinking about her sometimes. Whenever I see something Japanese, she was just a nice lady, to be honest with you. She was very forgiving, very patient, and I was just disgusting and toxic, and I feel really bad for her, like having to deal with that. But I met a really cool, she got a really cool girl in there, I found her LinkedIn. Maybe if I ever make one with my picture and with some credentials, maybe I'll contact her, say, "Hey, how are you doing? Do you remember me from 3 years ago?" I hope it wasn't like too, I don't know how else to word it, but I hope, I really liked talking to you. You're a really cool person. You're very ambitious, and I hope all is well with you. Something like that, maybe she'll respond, maybe she won't. There's definitely a number of people I really want to reconnect with and contact again, that I want to hang out with when I have a partner. When you're single, it's hard because most people, 80% of people have a girlfriend or boyfriend or a wife or husband by the time they're like 32. They're pretty serious about that thing. They don't want to hang out with someone who's single. It's awkward. It's like a triangle. It's pretty weird. And I did it, and it didn't work out. You remember there's one guy named Daniel I tried to hang out with his girlfriend. It just did not work out. It was too weird. I texted him way too much. I was high on stuff, and maybe there's other questions I asked that he didn't like. Maybe he didn't like Elon Musk. I was kind of defending Elon Musk, and maybe that was just the last straw. We only reconnected for like a month, and it didn't work out. I don't know if it was because but I think if I had a partner that's like, "Oh, Tim, just kind of chill out," we would still be friends. So I don't see any benefits of being single long term. There's really no benefits, to be honest with you. I can't think of any. It's very depressing, to be honest with you. Obviously, yeah, it's better than being in a toxic, horrible relationship, but how many are there? There's like maybe like 5% are really that bad. I don't think most relationships are like you're screaming and breaking stuff all the time. Like, sure, maybe if you knew each other for like 10, 20 years, or I don't know. I don't think it's that common. I feel like most are kind of okay in the end, kind of ugly and nasty, but it's not like you're cursing at each other every hour or something like that. It might happen a little bit, or definitely occasionally at least, but not like every day. I don't think it's like some, yeah, and I feel like I know the red flags to those kind of women, so I avoid that kind of people. Yeah, I do have plans and ambitions. This place is great. In San Leandro, this is really a godsend. This is great. This is the best decision in the Bay Area since I moved here 2-something years ago. I hate thinking that was that long because I have 2 years in the Bay Area and I couldn't find a partner. I couldn't find a really great job. Clear was good though. I actually met another Clear coworker today in the San Leandro bar. He just curious how I was doing. That's it. Just, oh, are you working? What is it? You don't have to share it. Just chill, But I really want to study bookkeeping. It might not be for me, but let's say this: it'll get me in the world of finance related work. That's gonna connect me with people. Like LinkedIn will help a little bit for that for sure. I think at least that's the right direction for the next 2 or 3 years. At least be around people who think like that, like finances in terms of that. That's good in the realm of finances, like someone who's kind of educated. They don't have to be like even BA attained people or anything like that, just as long, but that they're definitely more common in that industry. I want to take it very seriously. I might have to even say I speak Chinese, even if I have to kind of fake it. I do speak it, but in real estate it'll help. In appraisal, probably not. Tax keeping or bookkeeping, probably not at all. But I need to sell myself somehow. I just need to be a better person. I need to eat better. I need to exercise better. I need to sleep better. I need to not avoid, but really severely cut down marijuana. Even alcohol, actually, it can help sometimes if I don't use it a lot. More CBD oil, just more exercise, just a better attitude. I'm not happy with a lot of decisions I made over the past couple of years. It was pre-banned, and it was honestly ever since I was kind of a little kid. The reason why I don't talk to too many good kids as a kid is because it's kind of hard to connect with them because they usually have better upbringings. No one's truly all good or all bad, but like how am I going to connect with them if they have, if they go to like soccer practice every week? And I don't know if that means a good kid, just saying like their lifestyle is more structured, their hobbies are more structured and set up, if they're like a good kid in terms of like they're always having good grades, I can't make excuses, but I wonder if there were distractions that were legitimately that bad that kind of prevented me from doing better in school or even just okay. I just I didn't do well in school, so hopefully the certificates are kind of like my little bachelor versions of bachelor's degrees, to be honest with you. That's the closest thing I'll ever feel to a bachelor's degree, at least until I get one. Honestly, I might get a BA, I might get an MA someday, but it's not on the table for me right now. I do want to get the bookkeeping license. I want to get the certificate for real estate, even though you do say, and I do agree honestly, not completely, but I do attest to the fact that it's not like an immediate money maker, but I feel like it's good to get my foot in that door, so to speak. But I agree it's not the priority. And it does tank, honestly. Sometimes real estate really goes down in the market. It doesn't do well a lot of the times, especially in California these days. Appraisal license, that's probably the next few years. Excuse me. I have some ambitions, I have some dreams, I have some hopes. And I hope I definitely hold on to that like a torch. Like I really mean this. I think less weed, eat on the cheap or eat cheaper, healthy foods, good foods. Having good talks with my dad. I feel like our conversations get really stupid. We talk about like negative news stories like shootings and stuff, or I mean, it's okay to talk about it a little bit, but I think he's just into it a little bit too much. He's a news junkie. I am too, but like, I don't know. I feel like we also talk about kind of menial, kind of silly things, but and of course, you as a parent, my dad in this context is going to say some goofy things. It's kind of being a dad. You can't take everything too seriously with your children or your family or with others all the time. But I feel like sometimes it's really touching the line it's exceeding boundaries. So I want to have healthier, more productive conversations with my dad that are more constructive in nature. So I have a lot of dreams, I have a lot of hopes, having good hobbies like gym. I've been working out a little bit more. I have more to do. I hope that takes off well. And yeah, Mom, I really hope this job fares me well. I hope I get something in bookkeeping, like a license or a certificate in either bookkeeping or real estate. I know you don't really like that one, by December or January. And honestly, a car, that's very controversial for us to talk about. That honestly, it's why at Clear I was kind of pissy because I was overspending. I'm thinking in my head, oh, Mom's probably not going to help me to get a car anyway. She's probably not going to let me rent a car for a day or two just to enjoy it. I shouldn't make any more comments about that now. I don't have any opinion on that now. I just will say that type of thinking wasn't proper. But I know that I spend $80 a day on food and the stupid kratom. Sometimes the kratom is a horrible drug, by the way. It only helps you if you have a bad back. That's the only reason why you should ever take it. And even then, you probably shouldn't even take it. You should just take the prescription painkillers. At least a doctor knows what it is. You know what it is. But I think I just have a lot of plans. I really want to have a good, ambitious future. I need to study hard. I need to work hard. I might need to get a second job. I'm very distraught with a lot of my decisions this year. I did say I had thoughts of hurting myself. That's not good. But back to the car thing really quick. I do want to finish that. I did forget that thought for a second. I do want to say, I don't know when, but I will tell you it will help me a lot in finding a partner. But I don't really care because I messed up so much even before the quitting Clear. I shouldn't have been eating $80 a food. I should be just eating at home. I know I feel kind of nervous. I really didn't like Aura as a person. She may be uncomfortable, but still I could have just bought sandwiches from Safeway or those prepared ones, or I could have bought salads and our protein kind of things. I could have got hummus, even some Asian nougat. I don't, it might smell and get attention. Who cares? Some people do care. I don't care unless it's absolutely disgustingly smelly. Or very offensive, very fishy. As long as it's some pad thai thing or Chinese chow mein and shrimp thing you get at Safeway or even an Asian store, just do it. I should have done that. Put some, thank God the rice cooker exists. I should have made rice and brought it in a Tupperware. I did not do that. Hopefully there's a good future in me saving money that'll help me get a car faster. But the relationship thing, I actually think it's an urgent thing that I need to be serious about. But first off is just focus on my health as an individual here in San Leandro in my house. Go to this job called Unique, working with AC Transit starting on Thursday. Hope the best for it. Also have a job interview with a company called Canon, but it's under Canon. They work with Canon. It's called Tools for Humanity. It's kind of hard to describe. It's kind of like sales, but not really. You don't get any sales commission money, but you just let people know what Tools for Humanity is. It's kind of like Clear. There's a biometrics, the biometrics from your iris create what's called a digital passport. And I don't know how it ties into Canon, but I'm working at a Canon studio. Actually, in a Canon studio, not a Canon studio, sorry, a kiosk outside a clothing store, and they know what clothing store that is, but it's going to be in Union Square, they said, so it's going to be kind of ritzy, which is kind of interesting. But hopefully, honestly, I probably would rather take that one because it sounds more prosperous, but they say it might not be a permanent job. I think the Anik one, ANIK, might be more permanent. It doesn't sound like it's anytime soon. I can ask about that, but they said it flows into 2026, so I don't know, honestly, what's going to go on with either job, but those jobs both sound amazing, to be honest with you. It's better than doing nothing all day, and honestly, I know you don't like me getting a second job. I kind of want to get something on whatever day I don't work, whether it be Saturday, Sunday. just some crappy, even some restaurant job for a month. Just I need to have some money here and just give it to you. And if you're okay with me using that money for a certificate, that's okay. We can negotiate that, but let's just hope things take off for the better.